Welcome to the new year, everyone. It is 2024, and I know with every new year, people are always speculating of what's the new year to bring, what is the economy going to look like, what is the housing market going to do, what are interest rates going to do, and with that being said, I know a lot of you who are looking to relocate here, you want to make sure once you move here, you can find work here in Colorado Springs. So today I wanted to go over just kind of what to expect of the Colorado Springs economy moving forward in the next month, 2 months, year, 3 years, 5 years. Colorado Springs always seems to have a very strong economy. I think that's based off the fact that we do have 5 military installments here, but the City of Colorado Springs Chamber seems to take really good care of their future and just kind of keeping jobs here. So in this video, I wanted to kind of just go over some of the different fields and sectors of Colorado Springs that are looking to hire and where we're expecting a lot of job growth in the next couple of years. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Living Colorado Springs and I am Alicia Armendariz. If you guys have any questions over anything that I mentioned today, please feel free to reach out to me. You can call me, text me, email me, leave something in the comments. I promise to get back to you. But what initially prompted this video idea was that this past August when I saw that Space Command decided to stay here in Colorado Springs and not go to Alabama, I just started seeing contracts just pop off all over the place. There were a lot of nationwide chains and just other businesses in general that when they saw that also, they wanted to invest in Colorado Springs or they wanted to expand the presence that they already had here. So that was a big decision for Space Command to stay here in town because it just solidified for a lot of other companies that Colorado Springs is a safe place to invest in. So even though that recent decision for Space Command to stay here in Colorado Springs came about this past August 2023, over the last 2 years, Colorado Springs has seen over 4,200 high-paying jobs being created here. And I think that's just because, like I said, we do have a lot of military influence here, but also they were anticipating how much growth was going to come with the decision for Space Command to stay. So the sectors that we're going to see the most growth or at least job opportunities is going to be, like I said, in our military related fields. They're going to be in the aerospace and defense, cybersecurity, software technology, and advanced manufacturing. Now, I don't want you guys to get discouraged if you don't have a background in any of those things. Neither do I. But I feel like our city does a pretty good job of knowing that even though we have a demand for those jobs, those personnel that are getting stationed here or being brought here, they have families, they have spouses, they have kiddos, they have parents, they have other loved ones that they take care of, and therefore I feel like Colorado Springs as a whole usually just has a lot of job opportunities to support those additional family members. So on my list, I do have several of those other jobs that are not IT or military related that I'm going to get into, but right now there is a $16.2 million incentive for certain companies to either bring their presence here or expand the presence that they have. They haven't actually given name to which companies are going to be receiving that money. I think they're still in the process of picking and choosing who's in the running, so they kind of been given code names. But I can say with the description of these secret companies, it's going to be a big bet that Microchip is going to be one of those companies that is to receive partially a percentage of that $16.2 million. Now, Microchip has been here in Colorado Springs for many, many years. They make semiconductors. I don't know a lot about semiconductors, but I do know that they do have a big presence here. They've always been one of our biggest employers, and they are looking to expand their current facility. It is reported that if it is truly Microchip who is in the running to receive some of this money, they are going to be adding an additional 1,600 jobs with salaries between $69K to $140K. So I don't know else who it could be, since I said they make semiconductors and apparently one of the companies in the running makes semiconductors. I'd be very surprised if it wasn't Microchip. The second mystery company is also a company that we're speculating is Intergress. They do fabrication for making semiconductors. Again, I don't quite know what all goes into that, but I do know that they are also in the running since That's been the description of the company that is also in the running to receive some of that money. I've heard that if they do bring their presence here, which I'm pretty sure they will, they are going to be building a huge facility on the northeast side of town. So my prediction is if you have a background in semiconductors, manufacturing of anything like that, I would definitely look into Microchip or Integress. I don't think it'd be very hard to find additional information about future plans or future hiring that they have here in Colorado Springs. Now there are two more secret companies that are in the running to receive that $16.2 million incentive if they come here. And again, we don't know exactly who they are, but it's been expected that those companies are going to bring on average 600 new jobs each, with salaries between $60,000 to $112,000. There are also a few IT companies and just some other kind of military related companies that once they found out Space Command was coming, they wanted to have a presence here also. And some of those companies that you can look forward are Frontier Technology Inc., Zyvaro, IT company, Meyer and Burgers, which is a solar cell and modular company, and then Bowcore, which is a software solutions and cybersecurity company. So, like I said, even if you don't have a background in any of those things, like myself, they're definitely going to be needing kind of, like I said, those trickle down jobs, construction workers, architect, secretaries, janitorial, all of those things. So I would definitely maybe be looking into them and seeing when their hiring process is going to start. As I mentioned, I feel like Colorado Springs does a pretty good job about just creating jobs in general for the rest of their civilians that are here. And with that being said, we just have a lot of growth on the east side of town. Whether that be because that's where a couple of our military bases are, or just because that's where we have room to build. We can't really build west quite anymore because we're already up on the mountain. So east is just kind of where a lot of new communities are popping up, and then also those new communities need new grocery stores and schools and roads and just everyday businesses. So some of the things that you guys can be looking forward to that are expected to come, if they're not already here now, are going to be King Soopers. King Soopers is already huge here. We have King Soopers everywhere, but they are going to put another King Soopers in the Falcon area. The Falcon area used to be kind of a subdivision, but now it just has had so much growth and so many people moving that way because of affordability and space and just new construction. They are starting to put a big new King Soopers, and inside that King Soopers they're going to have even a larger shopping center with kind of things of a Starbucks and discount tire and just kind of things of that sort. Falcon itself has some other amenities that are popping up just because the size of the area is growing so much. So I would keep an eye on Falcon, not only for affordability in homes, but just because of its growth. Obviously, it's going to need some more natural amenities to support that community. It's also been reported that down in the Fountain area, they are also getting a King Soopers in the Mesa Ridge Shopping Center. Now, that kind of surprises me because the Mesa Ridge Shopping Center is already massive. It is massive. I don't even know where they would put a King Soopers, but it's going to go in that shopping center, and I feel like that's a good move on King Soopers' part, just because the Fountain area is kind of on our south end of town. Also offers a lot of affordability within homes, and that's even closer to more military bases. It's very close to Fort Carson Army Base on the west, and then also what is now going to be Space Command, Peterson Air Force Base, and Schriever Air Force Base to the kind of northeast. So Fountain is already a great option. It's kind of similar to Falcon in the fact that it just has a lot of new construction happening, a lot of expansion, a lot of affordability still. And now they're putting in a big King Soopers, like I said, in a section of town that already just has a lot of shopping. Our luxury neighborhoods are also looking at expanding and adding new businesses. The neighborhood of Flying Horse right now is a very desirable, sought out neighborhood. It's kind of on the north end of town. They have a Flying Horse North section that is being completed and built right now, but I think they're trying to close the gap between the kind of older original Flying Horse and the Flying Horse North community by putting in a King Soopers. You guessed it. That King Soopers and that shopping center is also going to include law office buildings, subways, coffee shops, other just commercial spaces that can be rented out and leased. So that's another thing. Those neighborhoods up north, like I mentioned, they just have so much more room up north and northeast to build and spread. That's just where a lot of our city's growth is going, a lot of our new communities, and those new communities are going to need those kind of daily amenities. So I would be keeping an eye on those northern neighborhoods like Flying Horse, Cordera, Wolf Ranch, Black Forest, because they're going to be needing new businesses coming their way. So one of the next places that is hiring or is even going to be built and be brought here in Colorado Springs is one of my favorite retailers here in Colorado, and that is American Furniture Warehouse. Now, Colorado Springs has an American Furniture Warehouse kind of on the kind of southwest side, or definitely the west side of town. The biggest American Furniture Warehouse is reported to be in Inglewood, which is kind of a subdivision of Denver, and it's about 108,000 square feet. Now, the one that's reported to be built here in the spring in this 2024, kind of on the northeast side of town, where all that community growth is going to be projected to be 355,000 square feet. I can't even imagine an American Furniture Warehouse showcase room that is that large. That is reported, though, to be coming this 2024. So like I said, they're going to need to be hiring. They're going to need construction crews. They're going to need all those trickle-down jobs. So I would definitely look into some of that projects just around the American Furniture Warehouse. So the next company that is going to be hiring is going to be In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out Burger is creating their third location here in Colorado Springs. We've only had In-N-Out Burger maybe 2 years, if that. And there was such a demand for it that when they opened their first location here, people waited in line for days. 14, 15, 16 hours. Days people waited in line. It was something to see. There is a demand for just fast food chains here in general, and apparently In-N-Out, and so now they are going to be opening their third location here. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear that they're opening a fourth and fifth location in the next year or two. So definitely keep an eye out for In-N-Out. H Mark. H Mark is a Korean and Asian themed grocery chain. I know that they are really big on the East Coast. We have one location in Denver, but now apparently Colorado Springs is getting a very large H Mark. Also keep your eye on Amazon. We do have an Amazon facility already here. It's out by the Colorado Springs Airport, but they are now looking to expand their facility. They need to hire 1,500 more people, so keep an eye on Amazon. Speaking of Colorado Springs Airport, you might as well look into them, as we've brought down about 2 or 3 additional airlines that now fly out of Colorado Springs Airport, not just Denver, Southwest being one of them. I think when Southwest decided to come and fly in and out of the Springs, that was a big deal. We have, I think now, every major airline that does fly in and out of Colorado Springs. So if you are in the airline business, I would look into them. Colorado Springs Airport is also looking to buy a total of 562 acres over the next couple of years, and that space right now is kind of considered peak innovational park. What they plan to do there is, first off, just build a sound barrier to kind of separate themselves from the neighborhoods that are being built and kind of working their way towards the airport. But then also they plan to build a bunch of commercial space. And the purpose of that is so that they can rent out and lease that space, collect that rent, and then that way they don't have to kind of dip into their own savings and budget and whatnot. So that's going to need, again, some of that kind of trickle down work for construction and just additional services like that when they plan to start building out those commercial lease spaces. So even as I'm sitting here kind of reading off on my list all these places that, hopefully you guys will look into for possible work, I'm noticing I didn't include hospitality, but I guess that's just kind of because it's a given for me. Colorado Springs is home to the Broadmoor Resort and then also the Garden of the Gods Resort. Both are really well-known resorts just here in the US, but especially the Broadmoor. The Broadmoor is world renowned. And on average, the Broadmoor employs over 3,000 people. They are always one of our biggest employers every year, especially during convention season. We don't really have a convention center here in town. The Broadmoor is kind of the closest bet. And so any of those big companies, whether they be kind of in the car industry or military industry, they're gonna put you up at the Broadmoor. And so the Broadmoor is definitely just a place to look for employment. So even though it might seem that Colorado Springs became a very desirable place and safe bet for a lot of companies to invest in or expand their presence here because of Space Command staying, I'm going to say that I feel like Colorado Springs has always done a good job of kind of just keeping its youth in mind and also kind of just keeping jobs here and keeping our economy strong among its citizens. A lot of the high schools here offer trades programs that are in relation to some of the jobs that I mentioned today. I know Academy District 20 is one of our northern districts. It's probably one of our biggest districts here. Almost all of their high schools offer some type of trades programs. And I know that Pine Creek, for example, is a great high school. I have a lot of friends that send their kiddos there. I have family members that have kiddos there. They offer a cybersecurity trades program. I think I mentioned like 3 or 4 companies on this list that are looking to hire in the cybersecurity. So that's a great idea if you yourself just know that your kid is interested in that, or that may be a career field that they want to kind of follow down the road. Looking into Pine Creek and their cybersecurity trades program might be awesome for them. When it comes to hospitality, I know that one of the District 20 high schools has a hospitality trades program. What a great way for your kiddo to kind of get their feet wet and kind of start their career path with that program in high school. That way, once they get out of high school or college, they could possibly go get an internship or a job at the Broadmoor or at the Garden of the Gods Resort. And then from there, who knows, they could go on and start managing 5-star hotels in Bora Bora, in Tahiti, who knows, wherever. I just feel like that is a great way to start kind of building their resume and kind of getting their feet wet with having those trades programs that relate to a lot of the job opportunities that we already have here in town. So obviously I can't mention every job opening that we have available or every company that is hiring, but the point of the video was just to let you guys know what are some of those initial impacts that are happening right now that are creating jobs and what jobs are expected to come in what sectors and field. Even though there's a lot of talk of a recession, is it here now? Is it coming soon? Is it coming in the near future? Nobody knows, but I would say overall the Colorado Springs economy and just Colorado economy has always stayed rather strong. So if you guys have any questions over anything that I mentioned today, please feel free to reach out to me. I am a licensed broker and I would love to help you guys with your real estate needs. And if you could, hit that subscribe button and bell to get notified when I make new videos each week on everything that is living in Colorado Springs.